Ryan, Jessica, Dominic, they were all training a good 3 months before they started shooting every day, 4 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You want to really believe that Abigail kicks ass. You want to really believe that when she goes after 4 or 5 vampires, you believe that this girl could take down several large men. And you believe it of Ryan, and you believe it of Dom, and certainly you've always been able to believe it of Wes.
I think it's got something to do with how we view superheroes these days. You haven't got a six-pack and a big chest and shoulders. People don't buy it somehow.
Wesley's always in sort of phenomenal shape and is a martial artist and is well-skilled and very well-trained.
I work out every day. I'll do something, either some calisthenics or, you know, some Pilates, some stretching, some kicking, a little boxing, you know, a little yoga, little sleep. Should get more sleep, that's the key.
The trainer, before we started the film, wanted to pack on about 10 pounds on me and muscle up. You know, you got to be able to lift people over your head and throw them around and fight blood-sucking vampires.
I've had to go through a lot of serious training, and it's been really fun. Lots of weight training, lots of cardio, lots of running. Lean down, gain more muscle, lose body fat. I would work out for an hour and a half, doing like 45 minutes of cardio and then a full hour of weightlifting. Then I would go to an hour of martial arts and then an hour of archery, and then I would fall asleep. and that would be an everyday thing.
Both Ryan and Jessica were beautiful physical specimens before they started training. But Ryan's at something like 3.8% body fat. Jessica's at like 8% or 6%, something insane. You know, you and I are probably at like 48% body fat. So they're on like a whole different plane. And it shows in the movie. I mean, they're ripped.
We're on this very high intensive protein, complex carb diet.
It's all about the diet and the exercise, I really have discovered.
Getting up in the morning, having oatmeal and then a protein shake, and then eating 2 hours later. I mean, I'm having to eat every 2 hours.
Eating 3 big meals a day, not good. Your metabolism is slower. What you really would love to do in a perfect world is have 6 to 8 small meals a day.
Tub of tuna with vegetables, and then chicken breasts with lettuce, and then protein shake, and then protein bars, and it's like,
I'm eating drywall and wood chips, mostly.
Give me a pizza!
So you'll already be there.
They've also been training with fight specialists, fight coordinators.
I was the fight choreographer, a.k.a. the fight guy, and I was in charge of putting together a lot of the fights and the action.
They each have their own skill set and their own martial arts specific training. Dominic has been doing a lot of sword fighting. Ryan has been doing a lot of just sort of straight martial arts and boxing. Jess has been doing a lot of boxing, kickboxing, archery, and they've all been doing shooting.
Before Hong Kong came in, with the more stylized fighting and action like that, you didn't need it so much. But now it's gotten a little bit more stylized, and there's techniques to be learned and techniques to be taught. And a lot of the actors also now want to do their own action. So since the actors are doing it, they have to have somebody to train them. They have to have somebody that knows that type of stylized action. So you need fight choreographers now. People make it up, but it doesn't turn out so great. So it's good to have somebody that has some kind of background.
Their training has been consistent of movement work as far as stances go, kicks, throwing punches, a little sword work, and they've all been great.
I've had to go through a lot of serious training.
Working with Jessica has been, what can I say? It's been incredible. She's awesome. She's a great physical specimen, number one, and she's got a great attitude, and she's capable of doing almost anything we throw at her.
Martial arts training. Not one specific martial arts, but the whole gamut of all different kinds. We use one move from Savate, and then we use another move from wherever. I mean, right next to each other. And a lot of boxing, too. It's very much like raw street fighting.
She started training as soon as she got the role, and she kicks ass. I mean, you know, we didn't have a huge amount of time to prepare with her. So I called up one of the fight coordinators, and I said, how are we doing? How's Jess? Is she going to be right? She goes, oh, man, she's got knowledge. She's gifted.
So I was in like a month early, and which is not a lot of time. Not a lot of time to train for a movie like that with a lot of action, especially as much action as they had to do.
The archery was the hardest. It's really specific positions and how high your elbow is and how you squeeze your back. You squeeze your back in a way that you've never felt before if you've never done archery before, and it's incredibly difficult to get used to that. So I'd say archery has been my most challenging, and the martial arts has just been fun. I mean, very hard and gets you very sore, but that's just really fun for me.
She's a very quick learner. She's been able to go toe for toe, step for step, right along the way. She's been awesome.
The fight training has been really interesting. I just found it to be like a dance. It truly is a choreographed dance.
It's a deadly dance. That's pretty much it. You can get hurt.
If you remove the aspect of violence out of it, it really is beautiful.
I used to do chop socky films myself as an actor, so I kind of brought what I learned from the Hong Kong guys here, and then now I'm teaching to other people.
I have a huge appreciation for what these people do.
The trainers that we're working with, Chuck Jeffries and Clay, they're so talented. What they do that's so interesting that no other martial artist that I've ever met or I've ever worked with has done this before, has taken something from our own lives and applied it to this. So he knew that I take ballet, and so he explained to me, in this spinning hook kick, I need to spot my person before I throw the kick. And he was trying to get me to look at the person, and I never did. And he was like, spot them. And it made sense to me. And like Dominic, who plays Drake, he's a golfer, and he plays cricket, and Dom has to work with all these swords. So Chuck says, now hit the cricket ball.
Depending upon their skills and what they do already, we'll build a fight sometimes based off of what they already know, so they correlate. So if you're a good golf guy, then we'll say, okay, you got to do sword in this movie, which like Dominic had to do sword. And he likes golf, he likes cricket, tennis. Okay, we'll build it off of that. So at first, his movements are more tennis, cricket, stuff like that. But as we keep going and going and going and adding the violence to it and adding the technique to it, it becomes sword fighting, which ends up being his style.
None of us have ever worked with swords or knives or, martial arts, any of this stuff. So that's how it's becoming really easy for me. He's making it like a dance. He's making it like steps in a routine so I can understand it. And then he will personalize it for Ryan so Ryan can understand it, and so forth for everybody else.
Ryan's been an incredibly pleasing student also. He's very capable of doing what we need him to do. His character's a little less flashy than Blade or Abigail or any of the others. He's more or less a brawler and kind of a jokester. He's just taken to it like it's second nature also. They really get into it.
They've taken it very seriously. They're in phenomenal shape.
Ryan and Jessica have been incredible students. They've progressed rather well. We were very surprised and very pleased.
50% of what they're doing is the fight. The other 50% is acting.
You look so distraught.
I worked with Parker Posey in the interrogation room.
And then, when you can't stand it anymore?
She's, she's a very interesting individual.
So distraught!
The special training has been a revelation in torture.
It's impressive to see how hard they've worked and how far they've come.
All I've ever really done are comedies before, so this is something totally new for me. So it's a tough thing when you work 14, 15-hour day and then you have to get up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning and go lift weights for 2 hours and then go to work all day. So it's been hard. It's weird, my body doesn't feel the same. I can't, nothing fits the same way. It's all a little strange, but you get into it. You love it in the long run. You're so thankful and grateful that you had the opportunity to change like that and really jump into a character.
I feel really good. I'm definitely in the best shape I've been in my whole life.
How can you feel like $1 million when you're in shape, when you're always exhausted? Like, when you're always working out, you never feel what it's like to be, fully strong. I just always feel like, whoa, God, my chest feels like somebody, drove a truck over it. So, what's the point? I don't know.
It's really hard. Yeah. I'm just going to light up and have a cigarette now.
This is all prosthetics.
Yeah.
We've got a prosthetic six-pack on here.